Hello, it's Rebecca and today is another book review day and I have been reading Mr. Stink by David Walliams. So I will read you the blurb and then talk to you about the book. Chloe is just about the loneliest girl in the world, but then she meets Mr. Stink, the local tramp. Yes, he smells a bit, but he's the only person who's ever been nice to her. So when Mr. Stink needs a place to stay, Chloe decides to hide him in the garden shed. But Chloe's about to learn that some secrets have a way of leading to disaster. And speaking of secrets, there just might be more to Mr. Stink than meets the nose. Oh, I don't know what to say about this book. I've only read a couple of David Walliams' books, and they've been funny-ish. And I'm sure people are sick to the back teeth of hearing about how David Walliams can be compared to Roald Dahl. And I can see similarities, I really can. And it also doesn't help that Quentin Blake also does the illustrations. So psychologically, your mind is drawn into that of the Roald Dahl children's books because they were illustrated by the same man. And David Walliams is a funny man. And his writing can be funny. But this one really wasn't. It wasn't even that much of an interesting story. So basically, Mr. Stink is a stinky old tramp and he lives on the street, and one day Chloe walks past and she wants to help him and he's very grateful, but he declines the things that she wants to give him. But she can't forget about him and she really wants to help him. She asks him if he would like to come and stay at her house in the garden shed. She doesn't dare let him in the house because her mother is running as a member of parliament, or she wants to become a member of parliament, and one of her policies is to get rid of all the homeless people and the tramps. Her policies are quite stupid. Anyone under the age of 30 has to be home and in bed by 8 o'clock and other really peculiar things. And she's not a very nice lady. She seems to only care about herself. She's possibly running for the Tory government. I don't know, but just some of her policies seem quite conservative. And so Mr. Stink lives in the shed and he seems a bit demanding. So he expects Chloe to get up and make him sausages for his breakfast, and he doesn't seem a particularly nice man to start with. And yeah, it doesn't really kind of lead on to anything. The whole moral of the story, and I think the children's books there is a moral, is don't judge people on how they look. Because Mr. Stink isn't who he appears to be. We find out that he's got this long backstory that's fairly interesting, but it makes you realise that just because somebody is homeless doesn't mean that they are less of a human being, which, as rational people, we should all realise just because somebody lives on the street doesn't mean that they aren't deserving of respect and, you know, care and all this kind of stuff, which I think is good for children's books because children do judge each other, they bully each other because of, you know, where they live or what they wear, how they behave, how they speak, all these kind of things. So as far as an anti-bullying, treat everybody fairly and equally kind of book, I guess it touches on that reasonably. But as for an interesting story, not really. As for a funny story, snippets, but hardly, you know, laughs per page, which some of his other books have and Roald Dahl has. And if he's trying to be like Roald Dahl, then he is succeeding-ish, but he hasn't reached that pinnacle. And I was looking at some other reviews of this book and most people agree. A few people found it funny. I mean, on the front it says hilarious, The Times. I don't know who read it at The Times, but it's not hilarious. And like I say, it's kind of funny, kind of sweet, kind of sad, has a little bit of a moral undertone, but all in all, not one of his best, not one that I will go back and reread, because it just missed the mark in so many places. I wouldn't recommend this. If you're a fan of David Walliams, this one will disappoint. It doesn't deliver at all. Not much more I can really say about that. I have got some other David Walliams books that I will read, because, like I say, he can be funny. He can be funny, but not in this one. So if you'd like to hear any of my other book reviews, then please subscribe. I put videos out every time I've read a book, done something bookish, bought books. So if you're interested in books and bookish things, then please subscribe, and I will see you soon. Have a good day. Bye-bye.